the fundamental areas of disagreement of the bill is that it violates the supreme law of the land, the Constitution. One, in that it enjoins whoever may claim that whatever criminal offense he committed, especially very grave human rights violations, he did those because of political motivation. The bill says that person must be treated different from other citizens who may have committed other types of offenses. Now, our Bill of Rights in the Constitution prohibits discrimination. Secondly, the bill treats people differently. When our Bill of Rights says that no law may be made which treats people differently because of who they are. And so, to the extent that the Constitution is a supreme law of the land, several provisions of the bill run counter to those provisions of the Constitution. And to that extent, at Section 2, the Constitution says any law that is in conflict with the Constitution shall be declared null and void. And so our stand is actuated by the simple fact that as citizens, we have to protect the sanctity of the Constitution. Secondly, this bill is very prejudicial to the interest of the victims of gross violation of human rights, who have never been consulted. The preoccupation of those who are behind the bill has been to secure the freedom of the perpetrators of gross human rights violations. As a matter of fact, this bill should be called the Impunity Bill, not the Peace and Unity Bill.
What happens from here?
A big lie is being told that you need this in order to see through the reforms. Let me just tell you, I was a Minister of Justice and Law. I drafted 5 bills that I have presented to NRA, and by the end of March, NRA had passed those bills. The present government has not taken any one of those bills to Parliament. They're sitting there in Mr. Rakuani's tray. You wonder why government is rushing to facilitate through the system a controversial instrument when legitimately facilitated bills have been passed by the NRA and they were due to go to Parliament. They haven't. So who is stalling the reforms? It is the present government. Those bills are lying on Mr. Rakuani's tray in the Ministry of Justice and Law. This bill has not even gone to the NRA. It hasn't gone to NRA. When I was a minister, any bill that has anything to do with the reforms, I would make sure that I take it to the NRA. This one has not even gone that route. So it is a big ruse that this bill's passage is a condition for the reforms process. ABC has problems. You have ABC as a party. You have a prime minister whose relationship with the party I don't know since I left government. But before I left government, I know there was no relationship between the party and the prime minister. And the prime minister would appear to buckle under any kind of pressure that comes from the DC, which is why I mentioned that much earlier we advised that whenever your deputy prime minister brings political matters to your desk, just refer them back to the politics, the political principles, which would be the working committees of the two parties. You would have heard from the discourse that came over the radio that the cabinet actually passed the bill. And then you had the party saying, we didn't know anything about this bill. So ABC has to resolve its own internal dynamic.